Welcome in, my fellow Rick Grimes enthusiasts. Resident Evil 4 has its fair share of difficult challenges. So far, I've completed separate ways of professional with an S+. So now it's time for me to complete the main story and do the exact same. Doing this would grant me access to the cat ears for Leon, which would give me infinite ammo for every weapon, but I of course do not have it for this playthrough. Now, I have completed the main story on professional once before, but I did that with an infinite rocket launcher, so it was of course very easy. To actually get S+, the rules are pretty simple. You have to play on a fresh new game, which means no new game plus items. You need to complete the game within 5 hours and 30 minutes, which is more than enough time. As long as I quit to the main menu whenever I die, it'll reset the clock. But I don't plan on dying even once, so that won't be an issue. And the last rule, and the one that will cause the most issues, is that I can't save more than 15 times. The game has 16 chapters, and by my calculations, 16 is more than 15, so I would have to be very careful where I put my saves. If I were to die, say, 20 minutes after saving, well, I would be set back 20 minutes. But like I said, I don't intend on dying, so this won't be an issue. I will tell you all right now that I am using the knight armor for Ashley. I know it's cheap to use that, but the main reason I don't like this game is simply because of Ashley. So if there's a way for me to do this without having to deal with her, I'm gonna do it. That is the only thing I allowed myself to use for this entire challenge, not even any bonus weapons. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the suffering. Because I'm getting fucked on the stairs. I can't even move. Get the fuck out of my way. I also can't pull out a gun either. I cannot move. What is happening? I don't want to fucking play this game. I cannot move. Can you fuck off, dude? I can't move. Starting off with chapter 1. It's pretty simple. Get to the village, survive the dozens of enemies trying to pound me at the same time, then wait for them to be called to go to bingo. All I need to do is simply run around for a few minutes, jumping off the roofs, then climbing back up. I was damn near running a marathon. I eventually managed to complete the village after only a couple deaths. It's very easy to get done, so what I should do is save later on, right? Well, no, for some reason I used a save right at the end of the chapter after I got my back broken by this guy. Most of the saves that I wasted were used in the village portion of the game, which would come to haunt me later on during the harder sections. On to chapter 2, yet another fairly easy chapter. After receiving backshots from Menendez, I no longer have any of my weapons, just got this trusty knife. I silently take out a few enemies, barely avoid the spare trap and retrieve my weapons. Meeting up with the merchant for the first time, selling everything that I don't need. Also, for some reason, instead of pausing when I want to think about my plan, I just sit there running the clock down. Not sure why, thankfully it didn't cause any issues later on. In order to progress any further, I would need to find a hexagonal emblem to open this door. But to do that, I would need to step into what everyone calls Dynamite Valley. And it's called Dynamite Valley for a good reason. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Please move. Please move. Don't. Damn. Okay, you're a dick. Oh my god, there's okay, I can't even get that treasure. Enemies shooting at you, throwing Molotovs and dynamite at you the entire time. They also love to grab you. It's not exactly a fun time. I could just take out the enemies, or at least take out the ones with the dynamite, or I could just run by them all and pray I don't get touched. It worked for the most part, except for the one time that I got grabbed, but after that I was able to run past everyone else, grab what I needed and open the gate and escape mostly unharmed. After opening the gate, I make my way to the house, grabbing some loot and treasure and taking out some enemies on the way. When I arrive at the house, there's of course a chainsaw guy because why not? Personally, if I saw a guy on my front steps with a mask and a chainsaw, I would probably cry in a corner and call the police. Running away from him is very easy. The problem is I have a huge skill issue, and run into the first bear trap because of course I do. The old guy was about to deck me, but the chainsaw guy saw what was happening, and decided to saw the older guy into pieces, saving me. You know what, maybe he actually is a good guy. Getting into the house, doing this puzzle, taking out this guy, and doing a bit of looting. I also accidentally did this puzzle within a few seconds, which is not common for me, it always takes me forever. But hey, I will take it. I grab the insignia key and end the chapter. Chapter 3 was fairly easy as well. I now have to head to the church and find Ashley. Running out of this house, hearing a wolf in pain, and me being the good Samaritan I am, I saved the cute doggo and moved on. So far at the start of this chapter, all I got is an egg and one heal. Not a lot and also not a lot of ammo, but hey, it could be worse. Doing a bit more looting, running into this house, and completely forgetting that there was a trap waiting for me inside, forcing me to use my only big heal. Then I run into this room hoping there would be some more loot, but instead this girl decides to slam an axe through my neck. These village residents are certainly evil. Every time I come across a merchant, I always see if he's got any first aid sprays for me, as I would definitely need those. After arriving at the church, breaking these two tombstones for a merchant request and head to the gate, only to find out that it's locked and needs a different key to unlock it. This whole playthrough is mostly me running for my life and praying that I don't get hit. It doesn't always work, but sometimes I still manage to survive. I was also taking some risks. I had no idea if I could run past these dogs or not, but I luckily was able to. Meeting back up with the merchant and grabbing some more treasure, here I upgraded my shotgun for the first time and bought another first aid spray. In order for me to get the gas required for the boat, I have to go through the fishing village, which once again is just me running for my life, until after I actually grab the gas can and end up getting absolutely wrecked by everyone in the room with me. Oh, that's great. That's great. Oh shit. I literally cannot move. I cannot move. Somehow I managed to escape this horrible situation and head back to the merchant to save. Going back out to the boat for a nice boating trip by myself until this ugly fat fish comes out of nowhere and attacks me. Luckily this boat has a spear. I wonder what they could have possibly used it for. It's an infinite spear, but it also disintegrates whenever it even hits a single drop of water. It's a pretty easy boss fight as long as you hit your shots, which I of course did. For some reason, some of his attacks are pretty hard to avoid, causing me to die twice. After successfully defeating the ugly fish monster, I can end the chapter and use yet another save. You see what I mean when I said I made horrible choices early on with my saves? On to chapter 4, once again a fairly easy chapter. As per usual, I run past all these enemies till I get to this cave. I need to find 2 heads to get the key so I can unlock the church gate. So I head back out into the water, going over to this crash boat first. Grabbing the red 9, some other loot, then head over to Chicken Island and grab the golden egg, along with all the other eggs of course. The golden egg would be very useful later on. The normal eggs itself are of course useful, as I now have even more heals. Both of the heads are easy to find. Just do this puzzle, run past all the enemies, and boom, done. Now on the way back to the church. Going back into this clearing, this fat guy decides to wake up from his slumber and tries and succeeds in slamming me into the ground. At least ask before you put it in. For some reason, and I really don't know why, but I used a red 9 for this fight. This gun is absolute dog shit. You couldn't hit the target if you were 2 centimeters away from it, yet I still used it. This made it so I missed most of my shots. And of course the obvious skill issue just made it even worse, making the fight last way longer than it should have, causing me to get my head slammed in like Glenn from The Walking Dead. This sent me all the way back to the start of chapter 4, so I would need to get the red 9, the eggs, and both of the heads again. It's not hard or anything, it just takes a long time. It especially takes longer if you go the wrong way, like I did before I realized that I haven't even gotten the heads yet. Overall, getting back to this fight was very easy. It took just around 15 minutes. This time it went a lot better. Still using the red 9 for some reason. You would think that I would have learned after the first attempt, but no, it takes many more chapters before I learn. Finally grabbing the key and entering the church. Quickly do this puzzle and finally get to the whole reason we're here, Brianna Tarth. Like I said earlier, I know it's cheap to use the knight armor, it makes it so much easier, but I've never been a big fan of this game, so I wanted to try and at least have a little bit of fun by not having to deal with Ashley. And as usual, this is very common here, I run past every enemy, doing a bit of looting, stopping at the merchant, shooting these medallions, just hoping Ashley is somewhere behind me, meeting back up with Luis after crossing this bridge and having to survive this onslaught of enemies. This was surprisingly easy. It was one of the parts I was most worried about, but I got it done on the first try. I even had a good amount of leftover ammo, which is always welcome. Nothing too crazy happens in chapter 6. Well, that is until I get here and have to deal with the Bella sisters coming through the wall trying to slice me in half. If it was just them coming at me, it wouldn't be that bad. But because I also have to deal with other enemies coming through this door trying to grab me, which is so not nice. This eventually leads me to dying for the first time, but on the second try I was able to... Are you fucking kidding me? Never mind. Third try will be it. And surprisingly it was. I killed the Bella sisters, grabbed the crank, then slowly took out the remaining enemies so I wouldn't risk dying and be reset to the start of the chapter. Making my way through this gate when Menendez comes out of nowhere and proceeds to... That all seems a little bit unnecessary, so I run and pray that I don't die a horrible death. I shoot this barrel to kill these enemies so me and Ashley could run past and cross this bridge. However, the bridge broke, so his fat ass had no way of getting over. Meeting back up with my man the merchant again. Lovely man he is, I could never hate him. I sell all the items I don't need, upgrade my other weapons, and use another save. At this point, I'm already on my 6th save. If only I just didn't save as much during these early chapters, I would have been much better off for later on. However, this was a good spot to save. Walking up these stairs, once again getting my back blown out by Menendez. Not cool, man. Time for the first, I guess, main boss fight, I don't really know. The fight itself is very simple and easy. Do damage and avoid his fairly easy to avoid attacks. Unfortunately, I did not follow these 2 rules and got bent over a few times. One of these times, I will not take any blame for it as Leon decided to stay in the fire even though I was literally holding the analog stick forward. However, next attempt will be the one. Wow, this fight isn't even hard. Menendez is a weak loser. It is entirely a skill issue on my part. Trust me, it gets even worse later on. After finally beating this loser into the ground, I steal his eye because why not? What's he gonna do with it? I finally arrive at the castle. This is where all the issues start. The whole village portion of the game overall wasn't bad. Sure, it took me almost 3 hours of total game time to actually get past it, but it was fairly easy. After arriving at the castle, I do a bit of looting and do a few other quick things before I use another save and hop off for the day. And by that, I mean I didn't touch the game for like a week. Picking the game back up after a little break, in order order to get into the castle, I had to destroy this gate. The problem is there are dozens of enemies spawning all around me, and of course the 3 different catapults launching their balls at me. This isn't going to be fun. For the first several attempts, and actually the first couple days, I forgot that you could shoot the dynamite barrels near these 2 catapults. And because I didn't know that, I died multiple times, and it caused me to rage quit like 3 different times on 3 different days after 10 minutes of attempts. Not shooting those barrels meant I was dealing with all 3 of the cannons, while also trying to survive the insane amount of enemies. Thankfully, because of the knight armor, I didn't have to worry about Ashley. She would just scream and I would just kind of watch. It got to the point where I would turn the voices volume down. This would eventually become a very common thing for me to do. There are also 5 medallions, so I'd make sure I got those since it was quick and easy to do. After many attempts, I finally managed to destroy the gate and make it into the castle. Even more enemies show up inside. Thankfully, they were easy to take out with no damage. Well, apart from the little brain damage Leon just took, he'll be fine. I do a bit more looting, sending Ashley through this wall just hoping an enemy would take her away so I wouldn't have to deal with her anymore. Unfortunately, she survived and I'm still stuck with her. Heading into this room, we need another key to progress. Oh, it's over here. That's lucky. Never mind. The Gyarados could be a big problem. He has quick attacks and does a lot of damage, also I'm in a tight space, but his weakness is that, well, he's blind. At first I tried to open the gate without killing him, hoping that I could sneak out unharmed and using no ammo. Well, I hit the chain and he sliced me up. However, I still managed to take him out after a lot of ammo and heals. Going further into the castle, doing the sword puzzle with these, jumping across the chandelier, and doing even more looting. This next part will easily be one of the worst parts of the first castle section. All I need to do is go down here, grab the wheel, lower these stairs, then lower the next set of stairs as well. Well, a lot of enemies spawned and attacking me, of course. Ashley was somewhat helpful sometimes taking hits for me, so thank you, Ashley. At least you're useful for something. If only I took advantage of them attacking her and went the right way, because I sure wasn't. I got grabbed and beaten to the ground. That's always fun. This sent me all the way back to the start of the chapter, which means I have to deal with the catapults again. Yeah, I wasn't excited about that, so I simply rage quit and then picked it up a few days later. It took me forever to even get back to this point, dying multiple times to the catapults or the enemies there. Then dying to the Gyarados once, then dying at the water part again, but after another hour, I managed to get back to this point. In order to cross this bridge, Ashley would need to turn both of these wheels to raise the other sections. Enemies also spawn up there with her. Thankfully, she can't be taken away because of the armor, but Ashley's not the smartest. You would think that after being grabbed, she would run away or something, but no, she just kind of stands there, I guess hoping they'll just forget about her and walk away. She also blocks the enemies, sometimes making it quite hard to hit them. So as usual, she caused another issue here. After using a lot of ammo on the enemies up top, and the ones spawning down below attacking me, she finally raised the rest of the bridge. Then Ashley gets kidnapped again. I wonder why. Maybe try running again? I don't know. Either way, I had no issue with it, as I no longer have to deal with her. Some fish spawn here, which gives me a few extra heals. Going into this room, I need another lantern, but this guy has it, because of course he does. I tried sneaking around, stealth killing them, but I got caught. It went surprisingly smooth, killing him, grabbing the lantern, and making him run for the door. I grab these 3 different stone pieces, do this puzzle, and walk through the secret door, only to come across a man receiving back shots from a spider. That is certainly something. I simply proceeded to blow their heads off, as you do, and move on. This next part can be completely avoided by shooting the weight on the other side of this gate. I didn't know that at the time, so I went down, went the wrong way, and died once again. For some reason, I saved right after the catapult section on that attempt, so it would just be reset to the water wheel part. But instead of continuing, I rage quit again and picked it back up several days later. After another 20 minutes of dying on this wheel part, I was able to get past it, making it back to this gate, and at this point I found that you could skip the entire part downstairs by shooting the weight through the gate, raising it. This was very helpful. You can't even see it, and with the accuracy of the red 9, it took multiple shots, but hey, I'll take it. Running past every other enemy, then here comes this big guy. Yeah, I ran away from him as well. Well, I tried to. I thought I could make it to cover in time. I was wrong. Either way, since I had those fish, I had a few extra heals, so I wasn't that worried. Making my way up to the cannon and blowing his face off and destroying the gate. Well, I thought I did, till he breaks through the bridge. Not like you guys can see that, as I skipped immediately as I could not care less. I just look mad the entire video, and well, that's because I am. I was not having fun doing this, but hey, it is what it is. After doing the stone puzzle again, I walk into the room and unfortunately reunited with Ashley. Getting through this maze is pretty simple. Pull these 3 levers to lower the flags and open the gate. Enemies of course come out of nowhere, and have to deal with these annoying wolves or dogs, whatever they are. Either way, I hate them. After opening the gate, I ran up here hoping that Ashley would follow me, but of course she didn't. Why would she? I mean, you're only getting grabbed by 3 different people, so of course the smart thing to do is simply wait there in the middle, instead of running away. Back inside the castle, I need to get the 3 heads to open up the store. This one is the easiest. I just have to sit Ashley down in the seat, and I sit over here and press the bell. I guess that somehow opens the cage with the first head. The second is a bit harder. I have to deal with a few different waves of knights spawning in, but only 2 at a time, making it much easier than the separate ways knight section, so I was able to get it done first try. The last head did cause an issue. So you can skip the bridge being lowered if you throw a grenade or a flashbang here. Well, I did it way too late and the bridge was lowered, forcing me to deal with all these enemies, but I ran past them all, or tried to. See, Leon likes to trip on air all the time, and when I try to throw the flash grenade, he just didn't feel like it, causing me to die. So fun. Yay. Love this game. This set me back before the giant. I got back to the maze fairly easy, but died to a dog. Like I said, I hate these fucking things. The next attempt went a lot better. I managed to take out the knights easier this time, and actually threw that flash grenade at the right spot so I wouldn't be lowered. Things are looking a lot better. Hopefully it stays this way. Now I have to play as Ashley. Usually I'm not the biggest fan, but because of the knight armor, this is easy. I could just run past everyone and ignore them all. After rescuing Leon, she gets taken away once again, thankfully. This is where I decide to save again, for the first time in 2 chapters, finally being a little bit smarter with my saves. I should have done that from the beginning. See, my thought process was, I know this part is easy, but it takes like 10 minutes to get back to each time if I were to die, so I'm just gonna save. I may regret that later, but that's a problem for later. And yes, it absolutely was a problem for later. I have to get through this big room filled with a ridiculous amount of insects, literally my worst nightmare. These things are quick and everywhere, and hard to avoid. You try to climb up this ladder, well, don't, because they don't like that. For the most part, they're pretty weak and only take a few handgun bullets to kill, but if you shoot them directly in the face with a shotgun, they just take it, like they just got tickled or something. I'm not too sure how that works, but whatever. Luckily I was able to get through, but the next part is a challenge. 2 Garradors and several other enemies who are not invited, so I'm not sure why they're here. This first attempt didn't last long. I tried taking them out with some grenades, hoping that could kill the other enemies, or at least stun the Garradors, but it didn't do much. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought there were 2 bells inside this room, not just 1. I guess it might just be because of professional difficulty, I'm not too sure. That 1 bell helped out a bit, but there was no second bell so I couldn't distract them again, and I lost half of my body. Don't you love when that happens? It took a few more attempts to get back to this point, and finally kill these Garradors after using a lot of ammo and heals. After being thrown down a well, I now have to avoid these insects again, which is easier said than done because I guess my bullets don't do damage to them at all. I managed to make it past them and end up in the sewer park lab place. I don't really know what this place is. All I have to do is turn on the power and go up the elevator. That's easy. Well, not if I have to deal with that thing. This guy has a lot of health, and I mean a lot. I doubt I even had enough ammo to take him out, so I ran around, freezing him any chance I could, and avoided him for a few minutes till the elevator got to my level. I was thankfully able to avoid him pretty easily, and ended the chapter on a good note. Still have some ammo and some heals. That's always nice to see. Right after this chapter ended, I decided to use my 11th save at the start of chapter 11. Reuniting with the one and only Louise Sarah, we head deep into the mine so me and Louise could have sex. There are unfortunately rocks blocking the way. You can use a rocket launcher to avoid getting the dynamite, but I need to save my money to upgrade my weapons and stuff. Also, that rocket launcher would be extremely important for later on, so I gotta go the long way. I try to avoid all the enemies, the chainsaw guys, pull this lever down to lower the bridge, and grab the dynamite. It surprisingly worked out. I blew up the rocks clearing the path, and we continue. Going through this, we get grabbed and forced into a boss fight with 2 giant ugly monsters. But as you guys have seen so far, I'm the greatest Resident Evil 4 player of all time. I mean, come on, this is a cakewalk. Look, I'm not dead yet, so we're good. I take out the first guy and drop him into lava, then make this other guy explode all over me. Moving on to one of the most boring parts of the game, the minecart section. It's easy, just very boring. Shoot these guys, switch the tracks, take out the chainsaw guy, and you're done. Now we are in the nest, or where they discover the amber, whatever this place is. Once again, I have to deal with an annoying amount of insects everywhere, so I just run past them all and get to the elevator. I was able to do it after taking a hit, but Luis got lost along the way I guess, and I had to wait a while for him to get to the elevator. The poor guy probably got scared and crawled into a corner and started crying. After reaching the top, Luis gets his back blown up by Krauser and dies. I now have to fight him knife only. While editing this, I realized how bad I was at parrying his attacks. I was so bad. Well, I die and get sent all the way back to the start of the chapter. Amazing. I have to get the dynamite, fight the giants, go through the minecarts, then run past all those insects. I'll get back there first try. Well, maybe the third attempt will be better. Whatever, man. After an extra 20 minutes, I finally made it back to Krauser and died again. This time, I decided to save right before the second minecart section. It took so long to get back to it, so it was worth the save. I get back up to fight Krauser, and finally, after many attempts and over an hour on this chapter, defeat him for the first time. After arriving back into the main portion of the castle, I backtrack and grab the golden egg, and sit on the chair because why not? A few enemies had to be dealt with, but it was something that had to be done. Now onto the clock tower, one of the worst parts of this run. Thanks to my chat, I found out I could shoot the back of the statue's head and blow it up. I had no idea this was a thing, so thank you guys. That made this part so much easier. Before doing this, I thought this part would be easy, until it wasn't. This part was awful, but thankfully I made a save at the merchant right before this part, so I would only be set back a couple of minutes. Also, here is where I finally decided to get rid of the red 9 and get the sentinel back, which was a very good choice. I also decided to buy a new shotgun. Enemies on professional have an insane amount of health that they survive direct shotgun shots to the head. That's just lovely. So I spent around an hour here dying over and over again, losing my mind in the process. On one attempt I even made it as far as the elevator but ran out of ammo and heals, and died again. The fact that this wasn't even close to being as bad as a later chapter is crazy, because this was horrible. So after around 45 minutes of me dying over and over again, I make it to the top and start the Salazar boss fight, and this is where the eggs come into play. That did hit him, right? That second one definitely hit him. Am I tripping? This was the worst thing that could have possibly happened. I'm laughing at it now, but at the time I was fuming. After another 10 minutes of me dying in the clock tower, I make it back to the boss fight. This will be the one. Can I throw it up on the wall like right now? Or... I just fucking used it, dude. Are you kidding me? I don't even want to play this game. I truly don't want to play this game. And I just fucking missed it. I don't even want to play this god-awful game, and I ran into it. I don't want to play this. I hate this game. Once again failed due to my own stupidity. Whatever, third time will be the one. So after over an hour here, I finally managed to complete the boss fight and move on to the next chapter. On to the final segment of the game, and by far the worst. At this point in the game, it has taken just over 11 hours to go from chapter 1 to the start of 13. These final 3 chapters alone took me just under 8 hours to complete. I was actually losing my mind here. At this point in the playthrough, I had already used 14 saves. I had 1 save left for the next 3 chapters. After getting to the boat and having a nice chat with my wife Adawong, we go our separate ways and I go alone to the island. The first part is easy. Turn these 2 lasers, then go through the store. But I kinda forgot what order to turn these lasers, so I ended up dying here from doing it in the wrong order. The next attempt went a lot better. Turning the lasers in the correct order this time, barely avoiding the enemies and going through the door. This whole section of the game is filled with a ridiculous amount of enemies. Every corner I turn, there's another one. You really need to run past them and save the ammo for later fights. Going deeper underground, I come across Ashley once again, barely holding on. The problem is the door is locked. Well, sorry Ashley, I tried. We'll see you next time. Going further into this lab, grabbing this keycard, and seeing this weird looking guy outside the door. He's kinda weird, but he seems harmless. So far I have the level 1 keycard, but I need the level 3 keycard to free Ashley. So I go to the other side, do another annoying puzzle, insert the card, and run around avoiding the other friendly individual. After the keycard finished, I grabbed it and ran away. Now onto a room filled with a lot of nice people. They're all trying to pet my head like I'm a dog, so I blast them all. Now I had no rifle. The only guns I had were the shotgun and the default pistol. Why, you might ask? I really don't know, to be honest. In order to get the last keycard needed to free Ashley, I would have to find a wrench, which is inside one of these guys. Now I can't just go around fisting all 4 of them looking to find the wrench. I either needed to kill them all, or use the scope to find them. You can't put the scope in the pistol or the shotgun, so I could either try and kill them, and hope I hit their weak spots, or just die, and restart. While trying to kill them, I threw down a grenade, not thinking anything of it, when all of a sudden every single one of the regenerators broke free. I didn't know who was who, and eventually died, setting me back 20 minutes. But it was for the better. The next attempt went a lot smoother. I decided to buy the rifle so I could kill this thing easier. And yes, I know my gun selection for this playthrough has been very interesting. I don't know why I did this to myself, but hey, it's fine. Kind of. After grabbing the wrench, I simply run around waiting for the keycard to finish, avoiding all the enemies, and run away to unlock the door to Ashley. Now that Ashley is back with us, we go through this door, but in order to progress further, she would need to hold down this lever and I would have to unlock the door so we could both escape. Well, Ashley's dumb, and for whatever reason she decided not to hold the lever. It didn't get me killed or anything, it was just annoying. We eventually make it past avoiding all the nice people, go through the chocolate water, and end up in this very tight room. And it's not an empty tight room because no, that would be too easy. Another regenerator who comes through the pipe like he's a snake. Overall, he's easy to beat on a second stage, takes a bit of ammo, and it also really helps when I hit my shots. After somehow managing to land a single shot, we go into another disgusting room. The people here do not know how to clean up after themselves. The door is locked once again. So I tell Ashley to hold this fridge open, turn the power on, and head back. But of course not without something blocking the path. Yet another regenerator and enemies trying to take Ashley. Thankfully I don't have to worry about her, but the regenerator is a problem. I hope that I can make it back to the bridge in time before Ashley was taken, but I wasn't quick enough, forcing me to kill both stages of the regenerator. After doing that and barely hitting any shots, I take out the enemies around Ashley and move on. The thing we need to do for this chapter is to destroy the wall so we can get to the elevator. It's pretty simple. Ashley gets into the bulldozer and I throw 2 heavy grenades at the wall, ensuring she breaks it in 1 hit. So we go through the broken wall, barely avoiding the enemies. Close enough. We managed to make it onto the elevator mostly safe and sound, heading into this warehouse, grabbing the spinal, and all the other loot in the room, before going to take a look at this amber before Ashley is taken once again. I mean, how many times has that happened at this point? It's at least more than 1. It's very important to note that I used my final save right before the bulldozer section. Now that Ashley is gone once again, and I'm alone again, I ran back into Krauser, and he's really not happy with me. He tried to blow me, but I didn't let him. I tried opening this door without fighting him, but it didn't really work out, causing me to use another heal. These couple chapters made me go through all my heals very quickly. After doing enough damage, I continue on surprisingly avoiding the bear traps and lasers. That's not common for me. Krauser might have an addiction to the explosive bow because here he is once again trying to blow me. And, well, he blew me that time, setting me back another 10 minutes. But now I know what to do, so I wasn't that worried anymore. This attempt went a lot smoother. This is the worst game of all time. Finally, on the 3rd attempt, I made it past this section with the arrow and got to the second phase of his pre-boss fight, I guess. His boss fight is actually really easy, so after using a few heals and most of my ammo, I put him down pretty quickly. Only this in the next chapter till I'm finally done. This should take less than an hour. I have to go further into the island, and of course not without any trouble. Luckily, Mike in the helicopter comes in to rescue and takes a sweet time killing them. What happens from here on out in this chapter traumatized me. It also made me hate Leon, Mike, Ashley, and everyone. So far this attempt was going okay, but if I die now I get set back to the bulldozer part. I have to beat the game from here on out without dying. I have no more saves. Mike, being the loser he is, can't blow up the big gun, so I have to so we can destroy the gate. I tried throwing a grenade to do it, which is something you can do but you need two. I didn't know that at the time, so I just went up for the gun. An insane amount of enemies blocking the path, me taking multiple hits and using a good amount of ammo. I somehow managed to destroy the gun, and Mike destroys the gate. Also, I'm not too sure what this enemy was doing. I guess he just got tired of attacking me and walked away. As I head back down, I get hit even more times, used more ammo and heals. This went from bad to worse extremely quick. I swear Leon just started tripping on air sometimes. It was causing so many issues. I still somehow managed to survive and get into this section. This part was even worse. I had a guy from the other side lining me up in his sights with his rocket launcher, a few dozen enemies that felt like shooting at me, and I had to go on each side to pull a lever to open another gate, while also trying to avoid them all. Much easier said than done, especially when you have no flash grenades or heals. However, it took a few hours before I finally decided to use as many flash grenades as possible, but we'll get to that. A big pig guy also spawns in when you pull the first lever, so that's fun. As I go to pull the second lever, I get grabbed. Get the f*** out of my way! Like, what the f*** is that? This set me back 25 minutes. Isn't that fun? I'm not gonna lie, editing this part of the video is actually making me slightly angry again. It was so bad. I mean, I thought The Last of Us Part 2 on Grounded was bad. This was so much worse. The second attempt of the day, I actually made it back easily by defeating Krauser and dealing with the insane amount of enemies. This time I found out I needed 2 grenades to destroy the gun, making things quicker and easier. But I did it on the other side, as I didn't know you could do it from the bridge. Once again, that comes later. Doing it this way was a bigger problem, causing me to deal with even more enemies. After somehow making it through and getting to the other side to pull the first lever, I jump down and the big guy has other plans for me. Yeah, we're done for today. After rage quitting from this challenge once again, I decided to pick it up again the next day. I really locked in during these last couple days to try and get this done as soon as possible. Back at the bulldozer part again, speed running through the entire chapter, taking out Krauser again and making it back. After destroying the gun on the left side instead of on the bridge, I got stuck and couldn't move anywhere. Please run, Leon, please just run. Can I please move? Because I'm getting fucked on the stairs. I can't even move. Get the fuck out of my way. I also can't pull out a gun either. I cannot move. What is happening? I don't want to fucking play this game. I cannot move. Can you fuck off, dude? I can't move. Yet another death. Speed running through chapter 14 again, taking out Krauser easily, and getting back to the bad part. At this point, I was losing my mind more than usual when doing these challenges. I got the first lever pulled and once again could not move. I also had no heals, so I died again. So far, it was over 2.5 hours in on just these last couple chapters. This whole time, I only died in Krauser's boss fight once. This part was easy, it just took forever to get to. So dying 30 minutes into a run many times, it started to hurt a lot. I had 3 options. Do the smart thing and delete the game, keep doing what I've been doing for the past couple hours, or I could go back to my save at the end of chapter 12 and get all the way past Krauser in one go. If I go back to the save, I would have 1 save left. So if I made it past Krauser and saved right before this bad part, I could get it done a lot quicker. The main problem was how long it took to actually get there. So being set back 5 minutes instead of 25 looked a lot better. Now I just actually have to do it. So after resetting to the end of chapter 12, I have to get the 3 key cards while avoiding all the regenerators, rescue Ashley, deal with her being annoying while getting this door open, which she just wouldn't move so I had to kill every enemy, taking out the stronger regenerator and turn the power back on. I got back here first try. Now all I need to do is not hesitate while crossing the bridge. I want that loot, but he's just... yeah, we're done. We're done. This was actually entirely on me. I was debating on going back and looting the regenerator while on the bridge for some reason, not even thinking about the guy going for Ashley. I also didn't know you could die on that bridge, so that was a first. I lost another 30 minutes of progress, so got off for a bit. I actually got back on after about an hour of streaming GTA 5 Chaos mod. Unfortunately, I don't have the footage, but before I got back on, I was so determined about finishing it that night, so I got back on, and within the first 2 attempts, I got hit by those knights at the end of chapter 12 and got off immediately. A few hours after rage quitting for the second time that day, I got back on again off stream and tried to get back to that spot I wanted to save at. Everything went smoothly, with only 1 reset a couple minutes into the first run, which wasn't bad. This time I actually made it across the bridge. I also spent a lot more time looting, gathering as much treasure as possible, and saving as many heals and flash grenades as I could. I had done this entire chapter so many times at this point that it was so easy for me at this point. Killing Krauser was just as easy, starting the next chapter with a lot more heals, ammo, and grenades. I sell my treasure, upgrade my weapons, and use my 15th save, just a couple minutes away from the part that has been causing me the most issues. I finally hop off this game for the night after many hours of dying to the same thing over and over again for 4 hours straight. On the third day of trying to complete this chapter, I decided that no matter what happens, I will not end the stream until I beat it. I saved right before the worst part, so if I die, I only get sent back a few minutes, which is much better. So by the time I got back there, I would remember exactly what to do. I wait for Mike to take these guys out, take out the gun from the bridge this time, get hit many times as I try to run and pull the first lever, running back over to pull the second lever, and I die again. I was already annoyed, and it wasn't going to end anytime soon. After another 15 minutes, things started to look up. Throw it. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is the first time I've made it past that part in the past like 4 hours. It was actually really hard not to crack a smile. I didn't want to let myself get too happy in case something happened. Oh, what the f- It took me a while to get back, and when I did, I died to the regenerators because I didn't know you could avoid them. This was not going well. Even when I made it past the regenerators, I died during this part a couple times. After 7 total hours on these 2 chapters, something happened. Forgot to blow up that barrel. Truly incredible. First time in 6 hours I've even made it into this room. It is the first time in 6 hours that I've made it into this room. That I've made it that far. 6 hours. Because we're at 2 hours almost on the stream today. 7 hours that took. It was the worst 7 hours I've ever experienced while playing a video game. The only thing I have to do now is cure Ashley and fight Sadler. Easy. After arriving to the final merchant spawn, I sell almost everything I have, so I can afford the rocket launcher. I don't care what you guys say, this is not cheating. It wasn't an infinite one either, so I'd say it was fair. I'll be fine. Guys, you guys don't understand how much my fucking heart dropped. I thought I missed him. I thought I missed him. My heart, I thought I had a heart attack there for a second. Oh my god. I thought I missed. It took a second for him to die. Thank god I didn't miss that. I'm not sure if I'd have a monitor if I missed. The last thing I need to do is escape with Ashley on the jet ski. The finish line is in sight. Just go slow, and everything will be fine. Am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it? I don't care. Just show me what I want to see. 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 Please, just show me what I want to see. I don't care. Off.
You really are the best.
Oh my god! Give me the fucking achievements too! Oh my, you guys don't understand how long that took me to get. That took so long. Give me the achievements. Give me all of them. That took me so long. 17 hours later, with 7 of those hours spent on just chapter 14 and 15, I finally completed Resident Evil 4 on Professional with an S+. This was not fun at all. The first 6 chapters in the village were easy. I thought after that I could get this done in a couple days. I was wrong, it took me a couple weeks. The Last of Us 2 Grounded was bad, but I at least had fun doing that, for the most part. This wasn't even remotely close to being fun after I made it into the castle. Was it worth it? I mean, I got a couple achievements, the cat ears, and I got to make a YouTube video out of it, which was the main reason I even wanted to do it, so I won't know if it was worth it until this video goes up. If it does well, then I'd say it was. If not, then well, maybe it still was, since I can put the deer antlers on Leon, which gives me balance for when I'm bouncing on it. Anyways, this is probably not something I would do again anytime soon, and whenever I do, I will for sure to make sure I use my saves in a much better way. The way I did it was extremely stupid. If anyone is still here, thank you all so much for watching. This is by far the most amount of work I've ever put into a video, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. I really like making these kinds of videos. The problem is they just take a lot longer, but they turn out so much better than my main videos. So definitely be on the lookout for more of these kinds of videos. If you have any ideas for challenges you would like to see me do on either The Last of Us or Resident Evil, feel free to let me know. I have a few ideas I won't spoil, but the goal is to get a few of them done before Christmas, as well as be completed Resident Evil 2, 3, 7, and 8 on the hardest difficulties. It's going to take a bit of time, but I think those games will be fun. Well, all of them but 7. I'm not excited about that one at all. If you want to see me do these challenges live, I stream them all over on Twitch. Most of the challenges I do will be streamed live. So if you'd like to see me suffer live, before I turn it into a video of suffering, feel free to drop a follow. The link will be in the description. And to whoever is still here, thank you all for watching.